Listen, learn, create your own destiny. Create the life you want. See the future, want the future, have it now. Welcome to the Manifest Change podcast. And here's your host, Brooklyn Storme.
Oh my goodness, I think I have the loudest ticking clock ever built. How are you going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Manifest Change. My name is Brooklyn and I'm so glad to have you here. The card that we've pulled for this episode says, "My appreciation of it attracts its essence to me." And these cards are by Esther and Joe Hicks. And I love this one, and I think it's absolutely perfect for what we're going to be talking about today, because the topic of today is all about letting go of the how. And it's something that is very, very important, and it's something that I think we overlook from time to time. I remember when I was transitioning my practice. So I'm a psychologist as well as an LOA coach and the director of the Law of Attraction Institute, as most of you know. And a little while ago, or maybe about 18 months ago now, what was happening was I had a private practice for psychology, and I was based in a bulk billing medical clinic. So all of the people that were seeing me didn't have to pay any money out of their own pocket to see me. They were all funded by the government to come and have their appointments. And so I had a constant, steady stream of referrals, lots of people coming along for help all the time. It was really good. But anyway, some things were happening at the practice that I wasn't feeling very good about, wasn't feeling very comfortable with. And I just made the decision that I needed to perhaps try and start a practice outside of a medical clinic. Now, I'd never done this before, and I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't really know where I was going to get all of my clients from, but I just knew that I had to get out of where I was. So I gave notice, and a couple of weeks later, I found myself signing my very first ever lease on an apartment that was located in a beautifully refurbished building in Frankston on the Mornington Peninsula. And it's a building that's iconic for the area because it's very, very tall. Everybody knows this building. So it looked fabulous, and I felt fabulous going there. But I remember sitting there the first day thinking, yikes, where am I going to get referrals from now that I'm not around doctors anymore? I was literally just in an office, and it dawned on me that I was going to have to start hustling. And, you know, I don't like that word very much these days, but back then I did. I loved it. I was the hustle queen. I was all over it. So I started asking other psychologists what they do to get referrals, and I joined various different groups on Facebook trying to find out what people were doing to get clients through the door, how they were trying to get clients referred. And so some of them suggested some strategies to me, and I immediately began implementing them, because every day that went past was a day it was costing me money, and I was having to use my savings to cover expenses. And of course, that's only sustainable for a certain amount of time, and it's not fun. So, okay, some people were saying to me, well, you need to be faxing doctors all the time, and you should fax them information about who you are, what you do, what types of clients that you see. You should fax them some information that's considered to be valuable or useful to them. It's got to be good content. So I went about manually writing up the names of every single doctor within a 25-kilometre radius and putting their details into a spreadsheet. And then every Monday I would fax all of these doctors. And I was starting to get referrals, but it wasn't enough. Of course, you want more because you panic or panicking about money. So then I was thinking, what else do I need to do? And somebody said, well, why don't you register with this company and that company? So I started registering with all different companies, trying to get work through. And then I started telling all the doctors in my area that I was a bulk billing psychologist, which meant that their clients weren't going to have to pay any money from their own pocket to come and see me. And bada bing, bada boom, bang. All of a sudden, I was inundated with work. And this was very exciting and it was wonderful. Made me feel like I was on the right path. And anyway, it was just a long hustle. And then it was kind of dips in referrals, and I'd have those quiet periods where I'd start to hustle again. And it just felt like I was spending almost as much time per day on my marketing trying to get business in as I was in actually providing really valuable mental health services to clients. And then I thought, okay, something else has to change now. What are we going to do differently? So I started to introduce fees. And I've never done this before because I have a mindset around money, which is a whole other episode. It's better now, but it wasn't great then. Not that I realised that. But anyway, so I had been very resistant to this idea of charging people money for a long time. For 17 years, I'd never charged. And then I thought, no, I'm going to have to now. I can't keep this up. So I started to introduce money, or fees rather, and this was met by a lot of hostility, like really aggressive hostility from doctors that had been referring clients to me. Very abusive phone calls to the point that staff working with the practice, so we had some interns at the time, they were upset by, picking up the phone and getting abused by doctors in our area. Other people had experienced something similar. The girls, we had shared reception, and so they were taking overflow calls, and they were also very upset at the way they were being spoken to by doctors who were ringing up abusing us because we'd started to charge fees. So it put a lot of doubt in my mind about whether or not I was on the right track and how was I going to make this business viable and what do I do? And so I kept hustle. And then it dawned on me, maybe, at the start of this year, I started to get really heavily involved in LOA, law of attraction, and in the manifestation. And I thought now might be a good time for me to test my mettle and actually start using some of the strategies that I'm sharing with others and apply them myself, because that's something that I always do, whether it's with mental health or whether it's with the manifesting coaching. I would never ask anybody to do anything that I hadn't done before. So while I've used these strategies before, I hadn't used them on the business. So I thought, let's have a go and just see what happens. And I have to tell you, it was really stinking hard. It was. My gosh, it just feels like the total opposite to what your instinct is telling you to do. Your instinct is telling you, do more work, keep busy, find more pathways, find more avenues to get work, find more avenues for referrals, hustle. And you do, and you live, breathe, eat and sleep how you're going to find work or referrals. So this whole idea of using manifestation and being able to set my intention and just say, well, this week I'm setting the intention to get 5 new referrals or 10 new referrals or whatever it was. And then being able to let that go, just leave it there, just felt to me like it was ridiculous. Like I was just letting this very important thing go unattended. And so while I wanted to try and set my intention and leave it there and just do the other things, like think about it from time to time or whatever I was doing then, it seemed like it wasn't enough. And so I could keep it up for a morning, and then by the afternoon I was back into hustle mode. I'd start again the next day. Maybe I could get a day out of it, and then the following day I'd be back into hustle mode. And then I just said to myself, no, come on, just be disciplined and we're going to do this. So I became quite disciplined, and I said to myself, we are going to manifest 10 new referrals by Friday. And I just thanked the universe. I did all of the gratitude work. That day, I kept my vibration high by doing things that made me feel really good, like I was singing, I had music going at points, I was relaxing, I was tapping into that feeling of abundance, of, what would it feel like now I've got all of these referrals? Well, it feels good. It makes me feel happy. It makes me feel calm. It makes me feel excited. It makes me feel relieved at the same time. It's this mixture of beautiful emotions. Anyway, what ended up happening was I got so swept up in feeling good that I forgot to hustle. And then the next day, because the day before had gone so well, I thought, well, let's do that again. So we did a bit of a rinse and repeat, and I used all the same tools. I did my gratitude work, I set my intention, etc., etc. Then I knew too that I had to wait for aligned action. So aligned action is when you are tuning in to what's going on in the world around you and you're listening out for opportunities. And what happened was I got an email from somebody asking me if I could appear on the radio. And I thought, this is brilliant. Yeah, I'm going to do it. So normally I wouldn't because I'm quite shy. Not that you can really tell because I'm on social media all the time, but I am. I'm really shy. And it scared me, but I just thought, no, this is the universe giving me an opportunity to build my client base. So I went down to the radio station. I went on the radio. And then from there, it was about 2 days later, I think it was, I got an invitation to write an article for a children's magazine on the peninsula. It's a seasonal magazine. So that meant that when I wrote the article and it got published, that it was going to be sitting around in restaurants and cafes and newsagents and all sorts of places that have those sorts of magazines for 3 months. And I thought, that's 3 months of exposure here that I'm going to get. So I was super happy about that. And I agreed to that as well. And so then what happened was one day I was sitting in front of the computer and then my computer just sounded like a pokey machine. It just went bing, 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 bing. And I thought, what's going on here? And what had happened was I have an online fax. It's called eFax. I have this online fax machine. And when I send or receive faxes, I get a notification from them. So what had happened was the fax notifications hadn't gone through because there was some issue with my Wi-Fi, and then the Wi-Fi had been reset. And when it reset, all these emails, I guess, that had been, or notifications that had been held up in the ether suddenly came pouring into my inbox. And guess what? 11 referrals in 3 days. Hello. And then that was all I needed to make me realize that, hey, this can actually work. So then I kept doing it and, I just love it. And now I don't do that much marketing at all, to be honest. Like I can't remember the last time I did a formal marketing strategy or anything like that. I used to do them for 1 month or 6 months or something like that, and I used to try and stick to them. But now I'm using these tools from Law of Attraction and they're working and they're enjoyable and I love, love, love them. So I guess one of the takeaways from that is that the whole process of manifesting really is so simple. It's just to ask, believe, and receive. But sometimes our desires are so strong. We want it so badly, like I was, that I was attaching to it. And when we attach to the outcome, what happens is we're telling the universe that we're lacking something. And then, one of the primary principles of Law of Attraction is like attracts like. So if I'm sending out the vibration that I'm lacking or that I don't have something, guess what? More of that's going to come back. And that was what was happening. But by imagining that I already had it, imagining I already had this thriving practice, imagining I already had a steady stream of referrals of ideal clients, it worked for me. It showed my mind, it showed the universe that I could have it. Also, when we're asking for things, we're telling the universe we don't have something. And when we don't have something, that can make us feel all sorts of emotions that are counterproductive to manifesting. For example, it can make us feel frustrated or disappointed or sad or sorry or guilty or ashamed or anything like that. And that's going to, block all the things from coming into our reality that we're trying really hard to manifest. And it stops us from experiencing gratitude, which, as you know, is one of the key foundations for manifesting. So in order to let go, my advice would be focus on what you want as if you already have it and focus on the feeling that comes from having it. And you can do this by acting as if you already have it. You can focus on activating the feelings that come with having it, like feeling inspired that you did it, feeling proud, feeling excited, feeling motivated, energetic, happy, elated, all of those wonderful things. And in doing that, you're able to let go of the how. Think about it like this. When I buy something on eBay, so I just bought curtains on eBay for the practice, I set my intention. I was intending to buy curtains. I bought the curtains. I clicked purchase and, I got the receipt up, all good. Now, I haven't given those curtains another thought. I'm just trusting that they're going to be delivered. And it's the same with when you're manifesting. If you already have the thing that you want, you're not walking around asking for it. You're not walking around obsessing about it. You're not walking around worrying about it. If you've already got the curtains, you're not going to be asking the universe for curtains, are you? So coming from a place that you already have it can be very, very good, because it can also help you tap into that feeling of gratitude, and the gratitude then creates a better vibrational match for you being able to call in clients or referrals or money or loving relationships or pets or homes or travel or whatever it is you're working on at the moment. So I hope all of that makes a world of sense to you. As I promised in the last episode, I wanted to finish with an affirmation. And so I thought today we'll finish with this because it's so perfect. Here it goes. I trust the universe. It gives me exactly what I need at exactly the right time. I trust the universe. It gives me exactly what I need at exactly the right time. So I hope that helps. Thank you so much for listening today. I love having your company. Please let me know your best strategy for releasing the house so that we can help as many people as we can to create their best lives too. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Brooklyn. Happy manifesting, guys. Bye.
Thank you for listening. Take steps now to manifest the life you want by checking out the show notes. If you've loved this episode, leave a review on iTunes. Here's to manifesting change.